Oh man, some people enough time to come up in the room. Mm-mm-mm. Some people enough time. Let's mute that. Let's go over here. People start coming up in the room. So we'll start here. And then we'll go. Yeah, you know what? We'll do that first. Peace, peace to the people coming up in the room. Peace, peace to the people coming up in the room. FBA all day. FBA all day. As you come up in the room, when you guys is coming up in the room, wait, what the heck? Hold on. Why did y'all don't be moving like that? Yeah, as you guys come up in the room, make sure you put your city. Make sure you put your city. In the comment section. Make sure you put your city in there so we can let all these people know FBA is in full effect. FBA is in full effect. So make sure you drop your city as you come up in the room. We're gonna fill up the room. We got to talk about some stuff today because I feel like the Democratic Party right now is going out of their way. What's going on, Chicago? Deadshot, what's up, man? God damn, I ain't seen you in a minute. We got Dallas up in here. We got Brooklyn in here. We got DC up in here. I feel like the Democratic Party is going out of their way to place foundational Black Americans in a lifetime of victimhood. They want to place us as victims. Like when you listen to the plight or the conversations from the Democratic Party so far, everything is based off of victimhood and woe is me and what's happening, right? We already know what the Republicans are. We already know who the Republicans are and what they do. Right. Okay. So you back now, huh? You back. Right. We already know the Republicans' positions on a lot of things, right? But I've been asking these questions, as long as we've been following this Democratic Party, as long as we've been up under these Democrats, what is the plan B? So now you're getting a chance to see with Trump and his administration in office, the Democrats have no plan of action. They actually have no plan of action. They have no plan B, right? They supported these Latinos and this Black and Brown coalition and all-inclusive society, and you're finding out that these people are not all-inclusive. They're not supportive of the things that these Black Democrats wanted to support, our elder foundational Black American statesmen. So now you have chaos breaking out in Texas, right? Where they're getting rid of the hub certification and over 15,000 jobs has been affected. A lot of them, minority jobs that were set in place for Black women and minorities, that's being wiped out, right, by the city controller. They're crying wolf, right? You have a woman, a Tennessee representative, that said slavery wasn't bad and using the Bible as justification for why they had slavery. Then you got Pastor Jamal Bryant. He's up to his old Los Angeles, California in the house, right? Jamal Bryant. He's up to his shenanigans again. Now, the woman was Nikema Armstrong. She was the her and Tamika Mowry. They was the ones that supposed to found it last year, the boycott on Target, right? They were supposed to be the one supposed to found the boycott on Target, right? Hold on for a second. Verona, Wisconsin. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. I'm back. I forgot I had to plug something in. I didn't have it in already. So we got Verona, California up in here. We got, let's pile in the house. And listen, everybody that's coming in right now, make sure you guys is hitting that like button. Make sure everybody is hitting that like button, right, as you come in. Because today we're going to go over some things, and we're going to get a chance to see just how much of a colossal failure. Tony, oh man, everybody coming up in this joint today. What's up, Tony Davis? Everybody in the house today. We're going to get a chance to see today just how much of a colossal failure our support of the Democratic Party has been. Because what we're witnessing now with them taking away DEI and all these programs that's been set in place that the Democratic Party had our people up under, there was no empowerment. There's no empowerment. Look at Black Baltimore today. Look at Black Philadelphia. Look at Black Memphis. Now, we've been supporting this Democratic Party under these programs for so long. Why isn't the Black community flourishing? I need somebody to explain this to me. Now, you have some stuff going on down in Dallas. You have some stuff going on in Atlanta, but not to the magnitude, to the point where foundational Black Americans are standouts in this country, where you can see us progressing forward based off of what we've been through. Or you can see that there's been laws set in place that's allowing us, that's finally enabling us to advance. What I'm seeing right now is a bunch of Connecticut in the house, right? What I'm seeing right now is a bunch of crying, whining, no plan of action. They don't know what to do. They don't know whether they're coming or going, right? So last week we talked about Jasmine Crockett and all of the shenanigans and stuff that she was doing. I was having a conversation with my wife today, and I was just saying, like, Jasmine Crockett and a lot of the sister girl stuff, they play to the stereotypes of all these Black women. Now, these other groups will use people, a lot of Black women in the Democratic Party. They'll use your energy. They'll use your style, your charisma. They'll use that sister girl stuff in order to advance their stuff forward. But once you want to get it, once you want to move up the ladder, they'll say you too ghetto. They'll say that you just don't fit the criteria of what we want. Or the whites, the W's, and the Latinos are just come out and outnumber you and just get you out of there. So then I asked the question, what is the plan B? What was the plan B for Black people, for foundational Black Americans connected to the Democratic Party? Because all I see is a bunch of crying, litigation in court, not knowing whether they're coming or going, blaming everything on racism, everything on Trump. Let me tell you something, man. Everything can't be blamed on racism, because we already know that this country is racist against foundational Black Americans. We already know this. This is something that we know. This is not speculation or things that we got to figure out, right? These are things that we already know. So what have we done in the last 30 years to actually create roadblocks or create systems in place that when something like this come up, we have something to protect us, right? We have something to protect us. Because if a Tennessee legislator can get on the floor and make the statements that she made, that lets us know that we've gotten nowhere. It's a colossal failure. And like I tell you guys all the time, make sure you guys hit that like button. Where everybody at? It's a colossal failure. You know, this woman, Michelle Renault, she got up on the Tennessee Senate floor and said that slaves were treated fairly, and she used the Bible to justify slavery, and said that the forefathers changed from their wicked ways. And then you had these two black men get up there and call those so-called forefathers our forefathers. And you wonder why we can't advance and get nowhere. Because the same people that had slaves, think about it, the same people that had slaves, the same people that justified slavery, You got our people up there saying that they was our forefathers. That's crazy, right? That's crazy work. Hold on for a second, y'all. 1 second. Let's. I don't understand what's going on right now with the algorithm right now, but make sure you guys is getting this stuff out. Wait a minute. Let me do this real fast. Because they be doing me real janky lately. Hold on. What was that? Oops. People get up in the room. I don't know what they. You got to be kidding me, man. I don't know what they've been doing all week, man. Hold on a second. Hold on. I'm putting this up in here real quick because what we got to show today, what I got to show you guys today, man. Listen, a lot of us, if we don't get on the ball, right away, we're gonna be in serious trouble, man. We're gonna be in serious trouble. I should have sent this in a minute. Hold on a second. I'm sending this thing out real quick. Yeah, we gonna be, man. Listen, because the things that they're trying to do, the things that they're trying to do. Hold on. Wait a minute. Oh, here we go. Just give me a second, y'all. Give me a second. Just make sure when y'all come in, y'all hitting that like button. We moving slow this morning. We moving slow this afternoon, man. We in the 5 o'clock traffic jam. We're in the 5 o'clock traffic jam. All right, here we go. That's the last one. Yeah, I was trying to get this thing real quick so that way when I share my screen. Oh shit! Hold on. Wait a minute. I forgot all about them. Yeah. 30 seconds. Oh shit. So we got Orange County, California here. We got Dallas, Texas up in here. Make sure when y'all come in, y'all not putting make sure y'all putting y'all cities up in here. We got Connecticut in the house. Make sure y'all getting y'all cities up in here, man. Come on. Put y'all cities in here so y'all can let everybody know. Y'all let everybody know that we making moves, man. Foundational Black Americans is making moves. Make sure y'all get y'all cities up in there. All right. I think we done. Yeah, we done. All right, here we go. All right, we done. Yeah. Have I sent everything? All right, I'm back. All right, so look, right? Yeah, we got York, PA, we got DC, we got Chicago, we got Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We got everybody. We got people checking in from everywhere, right? And as I was saying that the Dems, ATL, Craig, what's up, Craig? The Dems is looking, brother Rashid, they're looking to keep us in just as perpetual victims and victim mode. Listen, man, we could talk all day about slavery. We could talk all day about Jim Crow. We could talk all day about the black codes. We could talk all day about police brutality. We could talk all day about the crack era, the heroin Holocaust. We could talk all day about all that kind of stuff. At the end of the day, what Dr. Claude Anderson told us, with these immigrants coming in, nobody gives a darn. Houston in the house. Nobody gives a darn about that. That's our plight. Nobody cares about our plight but us. We got to care about the DMV up in here. We got to care about ourselves. And we got to do the things that we need to do to fix ourselves. So now when you see all of this stuff going on, you're finding out that these Democrats do not have a plan of action, right? I'm just waiting for us to get at least 150 people in the room before I share the screen. So make sure you guys are hitting that like button. Make sure you guys hit that like button. I don't know where everybody at this right now. We 14 minutes in. We didn't get to 100 people yet. Where y'all at? Let's get up in here, right? Because I got some real pertinent information that you guys need to see. Because right now, what Trump has allowed Trump has opened up the floodgates for all the W supremacists to come out from under their rocks and manholes, right? As at one point they took off their clan robes and they became judges. They took off their clan robes and they became police officers. They took off their clan robes, they became your doctors. They went into all the different fields and they went undercover, right? And they stopped using the N-word, right? And they've had like secret words and other kind of things that they would use for you, but they still control the civil service buildings. They still control the job market. They still control the politics, right? And we know that we've been at a disadvantage. Think about this, right? Think about this. If you had to go stand in front of a judge right now as a foundational Black American, you have nothing to protect you. There's no way of knowing that judge ain't calling you an N-word under his or her breath. If they have a preconceived notion about you based off the way your image has been presented to the world. This country, the federal government, has failed to protect your image based off the way that they taught people to perceive you. They have never protected your image, right? This federal government has never went out of a way to force state law to enforce laws that's on the federal books to protect you. None of that stuff has been happening, right? So now, if we know that, right, why are we screaming racism? Instead of working every day that we can, tooth and nail, every day of our life to change our current situation. We already know that Richmond VA up in the house. We already know that they racist. What more do they got to show you? So, but the sad part is Monique and Rashid, I'm finding out that a lot of Black people only think that the Republicans are racist. They don't believe that the Democrats are racist at all. They only believe that the Republicans are racist. They support everything that these Democrats is doing. Even if you come with a W spouse, they still support you. Right or wrong, weak or strong. Even if your policies is not beneficial to the Black community at large, only certain Black women. That's part of fraternities. And now Trump is in office and they're rolling all that stuff back. And now all you hear is a bunch of crying and whining. All you hear now is a bunch of crying and whining and no plan of action, and they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. So we're going to share the screen now. We're going to get off into this, man. It's real slow today. I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't know what's up, man. I don't know if they're suppressing, if people getting the signals or something, but something ain't right. Definitely ain't right. But let's share the screen.
She used the Bible to literally justify the founding fathers being slave owners.
Yeah, it should be done because slavery was normalized during their time.
Here is the verbal action she received from the descendant of slavery.
Representative Renaud.
Thank you for the question.
As far as our founding fathers to know that slavery, it is important not to dilute history. We need to understand and know what that is so that we don't repeat those mistakes.
But the Bible also says that we will be judged in the time of our culture. And at that time, it was a common practice. Not saying that's right or wrong. The Bible actually does instruct those who do own slaves on how to treat them and to treat them fairly and kindly. But our founding fathers definitely believe that all men were created equal. And it was those beliefs that moved us from the position of slavery to where we are today.
So this is the thing. That's something that I always teach when I'm talking to you guys. And I want you guys to remember, no emotion. We sit back and we listen. We take out all the emotion and we pay attention. So now when you unpack this and you listen to what this woman is saying, what she's saying ain't the problem. I want y'all to listen to me. What she's saying right now ain't the problem. The major problem is before she opened up her mouth to say it, there was something inside her conscious that made her believe it was okay for her to get up there on that floor and make those statements in 2026. That's what's most alarming. Not what came out of her mouth. It's what's inside her consciousness. It's what's inside her subconscious mind. What's been downloaded. So now, who are the people that she's around? Who are the people that she's around that agree with her? Right? Look at this immigrant, right? Who agrees with her? See, I tell you guys, don't get caught up in what people say out their mouth. Get caught up with the mentality. That's what's more important. The mentality. That's why I said be slow to emotion. Calm down, sit back, watch, listen. Because they'll show you who they are. They'll show you who they are. Right? So she's on the floor right now, referencing the Bible to justify chattel slavery in America in 2026. Now, this woman is a Tennessee state rep, right? She's a state rep. So that means people voted her in office. There are people that think like her. There are people that agree with her. So let's listen to her. Let's listen to her again.
Don't repeat those mistakes. But the Bible.
I'm a descendant of a slave.
Representative Renaud.
Thank you for the question. As far as our founding fathers and those that owned slavery, it is important not to dilute history. We need to understand and know what that is so that we don't repeat those mistakes. But the Bible also says that we will be judged in the time of our culture. And at that time, it was a common practice. Not saying that's right or wrong. The Bible actually does instruct those who do own slaves on how to treat them and to treat them fairly and kindly. But our founding fathers definitely believe that all men were created equal, and it was those beliefs that moved us from the position of slavery to where we are today. So this particular legislation does not advocate to teach those things. I think we have many other pieces of civic education that likely does include.
They want to push education that totally eradicates and eviscerates and gets do away with our history. They don't want to teach the ills of chattel slavery and the selling of men, women, and children, the selling, the raping, right? The chattel slavery, when you were born into slavery, you were in slavery for a lifetime. A lifetime. The master can sell off your family. He can take your wife. The dehumanization of human beings, where you wasn't even treated as a human. You wasn't, the courts justified you not even being human, or a W didn't have to respect or honor you as a person. This woman is on the floor using the Bible of over 2,500 years ago to reference chattel slavery. Now, George, why are you saying this, and why are you presenting this? I am presenting this because this is a representation of a colossal failure of the Democratic Party, the black clergy, and the black power structure in America in 2026. Because again, as I keep telling you guys, the problem is not what she's saying out of her mouth. The problem is the mentality and the consciousness that she's using to even say it. There was nothing inside of her that made her feel afraid, guilty, or maybe I should not say this because the blowback would be too much for me to handle. So when we say that these parties have been a colossal failure to the foundational black Americans, this is what this means. It's 2026, and you're talking about a black and brown and minority community, and you have this Wing Lee, Chink Lee up here talking about chattel slavery for foundational black Americans were treated fair. And that those founding fathers who took part in the raping of women, producing children, and giving them the term mulatto, calling them mules, all of this was okay. But you need to understand something. And I'm going to keep reinforcing this point. what she's saying is not the problem. It's the consciousness, the thought process. That's the problem. It's what's inside her mind. And the way that you are perceived. So now, if you have a legislator speaking in this manner, how many other people, how many other state reps think like this? How many circuit judges think like this? How many of the state judges think like this? Huh? How many prosecutors in Tennessee think like this? So you have nothing on the books to protect your image or protect you, foundational Black Americans. But we can show and demonstrate representatives and legislators talking like this. But again, I ask the question, what is plan B that the Democratic plantations have to counteract this kind of stuff?
That, but this intention for this legislation is for that to not necessarily be included.
Representative Pearson.
It is nearly unconscionable to believe that you just articulated the theological vision of enslavers in this Capitol in the year 2026 as though it was okay. Because here's your problem. The Bible, which was written in many different iterations, but is articulating a time of thousands of years ago, was used as justification for enslavement that happened thousands of years later, 400 years ago in our country. And so even if you're trying to articulate, as you are incorrectly, that the Bible was somehow giving permission to slavery, that would have been in the era in which it was happening. It wouldn't be used as a theological justification just 400 years ago in our nation's history. But what is worse, and what is deeply disturbing by what you have just said is not how you are saying, and that was wrong or immoral. There is no question that slavery was immoral. And you
Now, I want y'all to pay attention because he's getting very emotional because he's triggered by what this Beelzebubian 666 jackal just got up there and said. He's triggered by this witch, right? And I understand, fair enough, but he's losing himself. But I want you, when he's finished going off, I want you to watch her response.
You need a Bible to know that. And there were always people who were antithetical to the antebellum South's iteration of chattel slavery. The people who were enslaved, who were kidnapped from the continent of Africa and brought here against their will. And I am a Christian, and I am a 7th-generation Tennessean. I have read the Bible from front to back, and the stories about love, about who Christ is, about loving thy neighbor and loving God is what we are told to profess. So anyone who misused the Bible to enslave people, misuse the Bible to keep people in bondage, they were wrong then as you are wrong now. I refuse to support this legislation because the lens by which you are viewing the world is toxic, is damning, is wrong, and is immoral. And you, my fellow colleagues, should do much more work in understanding the history of this country and understanding the history of enslavement and the consequences that it continues to wreak and the barriers it continues to create in this state and around the country. No one should ever be able to use Christianity as justification for the enslavement of people, especially.
Now, this is the thing. First of all, he shouldn't be up there even making that speech, because there should be federal laws on the book to protect us from this. But when you read that 14th Amendment and you read those amendments, these are for all people. There's nothing specifically for our group. Nothing. Specifically. Everything is for everybody. despite what we've been through. That's why she feels comfortable getting up there, right? And speaking the way that she speaks. She doesn't care. She's not connected to your plight. She comes here as an immigrant to advance forward and advance her people forward. She wouldn't give a damn if we all fell off the end of the earth. She wouldn't care. We wasn't nothing but slaves. We don't know who we are. We don't have no culture. We have the W's names. That's how they view us. We're nobody. If it wasn't for this W, we wouldn't have anything. That's the way that they view you. You are a piece of nothing. Nothing. You are a mixture of the W man, African and Native American. You're not African, you're not Native American, you're not a W, you are something else that the world steals from. That the world steals from. The world sits back and lets you invent and create, and then we just come in and take it. Because you are a body with no head. And we can say and do whatever we want to do to you. You don't have nobody to come protect you. Who gonna protect you? I can get up here on this Senate floor and say whatever I want to say about you, foundational Black Americans. Who gonna protect you? I can say those forefathers treated you fair. Who gonna protect you? Who you gonna run to, foundational Black Americans? That's exactly what she's saying when she talks like that. That's exactly what she's saying. Let's listen to some more.
Not someone who has the audacity to call themselves a legislator.
Oh, that wasn't just it. State Rep Sam McKenzie also fact-checked her
Now,
after she falsely said that all men are created equal, that it applied to slaves.
Now hold on. See, because this is the thing with Fatso here. Now, Fatso, he's making that face, and the only reason why he's sitting there making that face, because he's implying to you guys that this is what you voted for. Had you to voted for Kamala, this wouldn't be happening. Let me tell you something. Had you to voted for Kamala, they'd have still been there pushing that Skittles crew. They'd have been forcing you to call men women, right? They'd have been forcing you to been losing your job have you not complied, right? The Republic clans are right up in your face, removing programs, taking jobs away, doing all kinds of stuff. The Democrats will sit there and put their arm around you, act like they're your friend while driving a knife in your back, and maybe something else. That's what they do. They act like they're your friend, but all these programs and all this stuff they set up, what has that done for the Black community? What has these things that's been set in place for given by the Democrats done for the Black community? You've been gentrified out your communities. You can't afford to live in your communities, right? The job market is bare, right? What have they done? And now you don't have a plan of action set in place that when they come and start rolling back DEI and all these programs, you don't even have a defense mechanism to defend your own people that's been supporting you right or wrong, weak or strong for the last 60 years. So it's all been a colossal failure. But he's sitting here making his face as if you voted for him. But they're not done. Check it out.
When the Declaration of Independence was written. Yo, seriously. Press play.
We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal.
Oh, no.
Was that a lie? And are we going to teach that?
Representative Renaud.
We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men were created equal. He already, listen, this guy right here, oh my God. First of all, let me say this. Let me break this down. What's up? Peace, FB. Jim Foreman, what's going on? Listen. He should never even got up there and started off with that because he knows that that's never been honored. It's never been respected. And the mere fact that you got this chinky-eyed immigrant up there making these comments about foundational Black Americans, and for you to get up there and you start off this diatribe with that, why it's gonna get worse. Listen to this fool.
No, that is not a lie. And it's that the founders believe that so much that they put that into our founding documents. At the time.
Hold on, my bad, y'all. My bad. Hold on. Because I want y'all to see her response. She don't give a damn about what you Negroes, she don't give a damn about what you cupboards are talking about. Watch this.
Representative Renaud.
No, that is not a lie. And it's that the founders believe that so much that they put that into our founding documents. At the time, in our history, that it took many hundreds of years to be able to rectify what our culture at that time. But putting those words into the documents is what allowed us to move forward. Unfortunately, it inched. It wasn't an immediate change, but those words ring true still today. And it's the progress that we have made as a culture and the values that America was founded on have allowed us to move forward and to be able to recognize that all men are created equal.
Representative McKenzie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm a black man.
Oh, man.
And the person that had me during those times was a black man. When historically accurate, not cultures and evolution and how things evolved, but historically accurate, that was a lie. My forefather was not treated equally, was not considered to be a man. So for you to say we're going to have this historically accurate teaching and not teach that is just flat wrong. Historically accurately means when they put pen to paper, they said all. They did not mean all. That's all. They did not mean all. So if we're going to do this historically accurately, let's do it. If we're not, if we're going to be able to pick and choose, then that's not the way we should teach. And say that this is now a historically accurate statement since we've evolved and we've got better and we've understood the mistakes of the past. The mistakes of the past says that my predecessor was not a man. So this is a lie. I love this country. I love the fact that our forefathers created, as Winston Churchill said, you know.
This dude is quoting Winston Churchill and said, hold on. Y'all need to see my face, man. This man just said, invoke Winston Churchill as a black man standing up crying about racism. And he invoked Winston Churchill. And then he went on to say that our forefathers. Now I want black people to understand something. How can you build or advance anything with these people sitting on the floor, with these black folks sitting on the floor with these people? You got to vote them out. You got to get them out of here. Because as foundational black Americans, we know that they wasn't our forefathers. See, what he's doing right now is he's having a hissy fit. He's throwing his hands up in the air because he's telling the W's, hey, tell that woman to shut up, man. We know you racist. Just don't call us the N-word to our faces, man. Just go easy on us. He's crying about racism while at the same time calling the people that wrote things into law at the time still own slaves. Those same forefathers that he's saying is his forefathers own effing slaves. And this man has a microphone in front of his face crying as a black man about racism in 2026, but he's invoking these same people as his forefathers. And this is the thing. You think them W's don't hear that? That's why they don't respect you, because you don't give them anything to respect. You don't give them anything to respect. Cowboy beans and giddy up biscuits. That's all you're looking for.
Democracy's horrible, but all of them the worst. All of them, the rest of them are worse. And I'm grossly paraphrasing that. But again, so that's not where I'm coming from. We have to accept that as African Americans that we were enslaved. We have to accept that. We have to move on, and we have to make things better for us and the next generation. But for you to come here and say that we're going to teach them, we're going to now in 2026 teach something that's historically accurate, and it doesn't touch on that. And you say that these are one of the things that we're going to teach. So we're going to ignore that whole piece.
Now, see, again, I want you guys to understand something. That woman, Michelle, whatever her name is, that immigrant, she ain't the problem. The problem is the black clergy down there, the black structure down there. You're the problem because you have done a poor job in creating systems in place where this wouldn't happen. It's 2026. We already had big mamas and big daddies. They already plowed the road. They already laid down the format for you to come in now. Why? What need to be addressed is why does this woman feel comfortable speaking in the manner and the way she's speaking? Right? While you guys are in public office. That means that it's been a colossal failure down there with you guys. You guys have failed. That's what's happened. But see, people are not going to see it from that perspective. They're going to see it with this woman just being racist. No. This country is racist. This country has always been racist. It's always been racist. Name a time when this country wasn't racist. So I'm not shocked at what she's saying. I'm more upset at the response.
Well, we're going to focus on where other people might have been.
Damn, man.
From a religious standpoint, because of a statement that they made here or there. You're not going to be able to prove that they were an active member of a church for a lot of them. You will not be able to prove that historically. Because several of them probably had some things that they put in pen to paper that talked about their faith. But historically, you're not going to do that. But here we are having this conversation, and you're ignoring this gaping hole in the creation of our great country. It's got a problem with that. This is just flat out not, it's not the way to teach historically accurate information. Either you teach it all, or we just move on and say that this time, these documents are great documents. These are
why he not checking her? Why he's just so
great documents that we want all our children to understand. But to say because some people have said that some of these were atheists, some of them not, we'll deal with that, but we're not going to deal with the gaping hole is wrong. You know, and my question to you is on a whole different level. How many of the forefathers that signed these documents were immigrants, were first generation United States eventual citizens?
Representative Renaud.
she don't care nothing about what he just
First, to
said.
address your question
Watch
about
this.
the factualness of the documents, if you would like to sponsor legislation to teach the aspects of slavery, I certainly would support you in that. But this legislation specifically is to teach the meaning of what the founders meant about our rights coming from a creator and not government, and then to dispel the myth that many of our founding fathers were, in fact, not atheist or deist. Even Benjamin Franklin was raised Presbyterian. He's known as our most secular founding father. He was perhaps religiously unorthodox, but he affirmed his belief in a providence. So when I said the legislation says moral belief, it is addressing moral belief in that regard, that maybe he didn't
Now, if this was her people, would she be talking like that? No. These immigrants have absolutely no respect for us. But this is the thing. Because we don't have a lot of people in here tonight. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. But where's the outrage from the Democratic Party with this? There should have been outraged all across the country with this slanted-eyed devil talking to him, man, the way she's talking. She's actually referencing these people and using the Bible as justification for why they own slaves and saying that they were believers in Christ. She's actually doing this. Yes, it's happening. And you can hear a rat piss on cotton from the Democratic Party. They ain't saying nothing.
Claim a certain denomination or religion, but he did in fact affirm a belief in providence, as many of his documents did state. There were among the 39 signers of the Constitution, a majority of them were Anglican and Episcopalian, but we had other Presbyterian, Congregationalists, Quakers, Methodists, one Catholic, but even those that were deist leaning did affirm or acknowledge providence, which we associate with the Creator.
Y'all, even a Republican, William Lambert, had, girl, sit your ass down.
My friend from Knox County, if we're going to teach history, let's teach history. Some of our history is ugly in this country. And there are people over the years that have twisted and poisoned what the Bible says to try to justify an evil act. I stand as a member of the party of Lincoln that he founded. Slavery was, is, and will forever be an evil stain on our country's history. It hurt then, it hurts now, it lingers in the heart of every one of us. The amendment says that this has to be historically accurate and devoid of politically advocacy, that they're going to have to pick a video to teach about this. I don't know about the sponsor, but I know my friend from Knox County is going to be watching real close to see what that video says, and I will be too. Because if it's not historically accurate, if it doesn't talk about the evil of slavery and the struggles that our country have been through every day from then till now, because some person thought it was okay to sell an individual to another individual. It was evil then, it's evil now, it will forever be evil. This is not partisan.
Let me pause there for a minute. Yeah, something going on right now. Make sure y'all hit that like button. I don't know what the hell the algorithm doing with me. I must be playing something that they don't want to get out, because they definitely suppressing us today. This is crazy right now. But this is the thing, y'all. Check this out, right? Do not get caught up in this W. This W right now is putting this information out there, but he saw a window where he could step up and say this, right? Because these people ain't been saying this. He saw that woman was in Greece, and he said, I can come out now and I can speak out against this, and I can get some black folks on my side. I can call this stuff out. These people don't have a history he don't have a history of speaking this way. Now all of a sudden he's from the party of Lincoln. Don't fall for it. One thing about W's, they know that black people seek attention and some form of adoration or something from W's, right? They know that the black folks do this, right? They know that if you tell us what a lot of our people, if you tell us what we want to hear and give us a good pat on the back, that we'll just support you. So now he's jumping up saying all the things that we would want to hear. So don't fall for that. You hold him accountable to what he's saying. Oh, you from the party of Lincoln? You think it's wrong, right? Then we need some form of recompense for what happened to foundational black Americans down here in Tennessee. And we're going to draft up a bill. We need you to help frontline that bill. We need you to help sponsor that bill. Mr. Lambert, you are a Christian and you are a Bible thumper. You are a believer in Christ. And you know that there has to be a form of recompense for what happened. So now, Mr. Lambert, since you grabbed the microphone and you stood up and you stood before the people and you admitted that this form of atrocity actually happened, then we're going to hold you to that same standard, right? Because see, if you can get up there in front of the people, right, and you can talk like this,
And there are people over the years that have twisted and poisoned what the Bible says to try to justify an evil act. I stand as a member of the party of Lincoln that he founded. Slavery was, is, and will forever be an evil stain on our country's history. It hurt then, it hurts now, it lingers in the heart of every one of us. The amendment says that this has to be historically accurate and devoid of politically advocacy. They're going to have to pick a video to teach about this. I don't know about the sponsor, but I know my friend from Knox County is going to be watching real close to see what that video says, and I will be too. Because if it's not historically accurate, if it doesn't talk about the evil of slavery and the struggles that our country have been through every day from then till now, because some person thought it was okay to sell an individual to another individual. It was evil then, it's evil now, it will forever be evil. This is not partisan. If you're on this floor and you are a racist, you cannot be Christian. You can be Christian or you can be racist. You can choose God and you can choose love, or you can choose hate. You cannot choose both. So surely to goodness, we can stand together on this to say this should be historically accurate. But again, they're going to pick a video here to make it historically accurate. I certainly hope that they show the good, the bad, the ugly, the evil and the right as we move past that dark time, but remember it accurately.
One Republican with some common sense. Larry, these white folks are so desperate to rewrite history. They really want his story. And they are mad that we actually know how to read today.
Yeah, I watched this conversation a few times last night because I'm completely dumbfounded by her rationale. And look, I get that she's a religious conservative, and that's fine. But Dr. King warned us about this kind of Christian. And No. See, y'all don't fall for that. That woman's a freaking immigrant that the Democrats have been pushing to come into this country. They are not going to address that. Let me tell you something. And why I'm telling you that we got to get away from these people, because these people are no good. That woman is an immigrant. And the Democrats have been fighting tooth and nail to bring immigrants into this country. That woman got up there and stood before the people and justified slavery. Their rationale is nothing about what we're going to say, because they're still pushing the agenda. They don't care, bro. These people are not on our side.
Black theologians since then have warned us about these kinds of Christians who will use the Bible as a way to assert that, enslaved Africans, our ancestors, that this is just part of the way things were. And as Representative highlighted, it's in complete contradiction what it means to be Christian, and certainly the Christianity in terms of the way I was raised in AME church. So we need to call people out like this for their hypocrisy. And also, when I look at her bio, her mom immigrated from somewhere else outside the United States. How dare you have the audacity to tell someone like myself and our colleagues we saw there on the Tennessee floor that somehow, we're talking about how things were back in the day, and it didn't apply to, necessarily those enslaved Africans, and, this rationale about, how treat your slaves well. My ancestors weren't treated well, particularly black women who were enslaved. Let's be clear about that. So this is ludicrous. I'm glad they checked her, and we need more white Republicans to offer a counter narrative to talk about, once again, we talk about a dark period in our history. It is part of U.S. history, and that the lineage of those challenges from that time continue today for Black folks.
Randy, I know of a very hardcore Christian. I mean, he was a Bible-believing, Jesus-loving, hardcore Christian. Let me show you right here. Come on, guys. Come on. Guys, come on. That's John Brown. John Brown was a hardcore Christian, and he despised slavery. Oh, I'm sorry. She ain't talking about those kind of Christians, Randy.
No, she's absolutely not talking about those kind of Christians. And when I tell you,
you see how they playing this? That woman's an immigrant. They're not mentioning her being an immigrant, and they've been fighting for these and pushing for these immigrants.
I watched this, my stomach just got so tight. Let me tell you what bothers me. I mean, one, when has any enslaved person been treated fairly? The fact that she would suggest that there was fairness in the institution whatsoever, and that people were ever treated fairly, just, it angers me so much. But I'm gonna tell you what angers me even more. When you see people of a minority group, and her ethnicity is Korean, beating this conservative Christian drum that is honestly at this point, when you talk about white Christian nationalism, it is white supremacy. Just how dare she? How dare she? It is so the antithesis of.
So when is the Democrats going to sound the alarm on these immigrants? Because this is the thing: when a black person do something, when one black American do something, we all get the blame. So now, when do you hold her community accountable for allowing her to get up there and speak? When as Democrats do you call out her whole community? Because what she's saying is very detrimental and disrespectful to our community. When do you hold her accountable? When do you call her out? They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it.
Of what life really would be for her. If you look at the way Koreans were abused on sugar plantations in Hawaii, if you look at the way that they were mistreated and abused and called out during the COVID crisis, all Asians were. If you look at the way that they have been relegated, oftentimes in this country still, just to work in sweatshops.
So what she doing?
And in the laundry.
So what she doing right now is, I can't believe you would disrespect us as much as we've been supporting you guys. That's what she's doing right now. She's crying about this, but she's not calling them out in the manner in which that she should. She should be outraged at the whole Korean community. And the whole Korean community should be called to the carpet, because this is unacceptable.
Servicing businesses. They have not been treated well in this country. So the idea that she is beating this Christian drum as if she is part of this white supremacy ideal is so insane to me, because it's not even true for her. So for her to try to justify what's happened to enslaved Africans here, and that she has feels no connection considering her people's history.
Why would she have any connection to us? See, this is the problem with these people. They keep thinking morally that somebody's going to give a damn about us. Why would that Korean lady have a connection to us? For what? And these are the people that they got out in the front speaking for us. Why? But listen, it gets worse. Let's transition over here.
Americans, minorities, and women from their Texas hub. $250 billion. That's how much Texas spends every year on contracts. Now they have removed African Americans, minorities, and women from their Texas hub, historically underutilized business. Why? Well, they MAGA. The Republicans there want to call it DEI, and that's the game that they're playing. Then, of course, what that's doing, that's freezing out people of color. Now, I want you to also keep in mind, 60% of Texas is minority. 60% of Texas, Latino, Black, Asian American, Native American. They want the white folk to get the money. Alfonso Davis joins us right now, President and CEO of Global Black Economic Forum. I'm glad to have you here. Alfonso, the lawsuit has been filed. People need to understand this is going to be a precursor. Other states may do the exact same thing. I have been saying since last year that Donald Trump, MAGA Republicans, they want to defund Black America. They are targeting the entire economic, civil rights, education, health infrastructure of Black America. And this is a part of that strategy.
Thank you for having me, Roland. You're exactly right. And I
you for
think
having me,
folks should
Roland.
be
You're
very
exactly
concerned
right.
about what we're seeing in Texas. Just to give folks some background, in the early 1990s, the state of Texas, through the legislature and the governor, signed a law that provided more opportunities for women and people of color to participate in state contracts. And
For women and people, for women and people of color to participate in state contracts. Now, we had already had laws that was on the books that was, hold on. Matter of fact, let's see. Let's see if we can pull that up real quick. Let's see if we can pull that up. Where is it? We had already had and where is it? Oh, here we go, right here. Let's see. Let's go down the executive orders. Let's go down the executive orders, right? There was already laws that was on the books. Defense, Democratic, overturned Democratic Party used for all white primaries. Hold on. Armed Forces. 1951 Executive Order 10,308 created a committee on government compliance to enforce the prohibition against employment discrimination by firms contracting or subcontracting, contracting or subcontracting government orders. Executive Order 10,479 created government committee to replace the Committee of Government Compliance. Hold on, wait a minute. I didn't have it set up. I'll find it in a minute. Let me keep doing this while that's playing. I'll get it. Because we had already had stuff that was on the books that was supposed to protect you. Hold on for a second. I'll get it.
that law has been on the books since the 1990s. We have about 11 to 12% of contracts that are going to people of color and women. So that amounts to about $4 billion. $4 billion is being allocated to women and people of color in Texas. And late last year, an interim controller issued regulations seeking to completely dismantle the program. He decided that the program should no longer include women, should no longer include Black people, should no longer include brown people, and should only be limited to service disabled veterans. Well, there's one problem. That problem is separation of powers, and that problem is the rule of law. An executive branch officer, such as a state controller, does not have the authority or the legal right to change a law that has been passed by the legislature. And that's essentially what he's tried to do, and completely eliminate all opportunities for women and eliminate all opportunities for people of color. That is unlawful, and this is why you filed the lawsuit.
Cortina Williams is a plaintiff in this lawsuit.
So let's go over here real quick. Yes, the restructuring. Hold on, my bad, y'all. Hold on. Yes, the restructuring of the Texas historically underutilized business hub program in December 2025 significantly reduces access to state contract funds for Black-owned, minority-owned, and women-owned businesses. Under emergency rules announced by Texas Controller Kelly Hancock, the hub program was rebranded to Vet Hub, and its eligibility was restricted exclusively to service disabled veterans with 20% or higher service-connected disability, effective December 2nd, 2025. Right? Impact on Black-owned businesses. Decertification. The change resulted in the revocation of hub certifications for over 15,000 businesses owned by minorities and women, including many Black-owned firms. Loss of contracting advantage. Businesses that relied on their hub status for preferential consideration, visibility, and bidding on state contracts lost these advantages, which were designed to promote equity in the state procurement, right? Now, this is the thing, right? Shift to neutral bidding. The new system removes all race and gender-based participation goals, shifting to a neutral model that experts argue disproportionately disadvantaged minority-owned firms. Now, this is the thing, right? We already know that that's there. But what did the Democrats have in? What did the Democrats? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys? Is my sound good? Let me know if my sound is good. Can you guys hear me? Put a one. Somebody put a one in the chat if y'all can hear me. Okay, good. So these people had nothing in place. They had nothing in place. They had nothing set up, nothing in place to counteract what Trump might do once they get in office. They was just sitting there, just resting on their laurels. They just letting things be. So now Trump coming and they roll things back. Now all they doing is screaming racism. Like all they ever do is scream racism and be victims. When do we have a plan set in place where we can counteract these things? Well, let's listen to some. Listen, man. See, this is what I'm saying when you're dealing with these stupid Democrats. Now, he's saying that Bush took this to the federal level. Now, you're supposed to have things on the books to protect you from federal law. But when Trump came in, he put a lot of his federal judges in there on the benches, right? There's laws that's on the books that's supposed to protect you from this, right? Because we know that you can't have systems based on them doing things off your merit, because who are the ones making the decisions? Who are the decision makers, right? We know that the decision makers are the racist people. We already know that. So now you had systems set in place and programs set in place that allowed minorities to get the proper bidding or visibility to get bidding for contracts, right? So now they come in and they eradicate that. They wipe it out and they take that funding that was being allocated there and give it to vets, right? Right? So now you're in litigation, you're in court now trying to fight that, which is going to take years. They knew this. Now, when you take it up to the judges, you got to go into the judges that Trump put there. This is the question, though. You guys are screaming racism. This country been racist. Name a time when this country wasn't racist. What steps did the Democrats do to have in place to prevent this? See, my whole thing is we just showed the Tennessee immigrant, Korean immigrant, get up there and use the Bible to justify slavery. That same immigrant class that the Democratic Party is fighting to have an all-inclusive society with, right? And none of them address it from that sense. They're looking at a sense of betrayal. Why? There is no black and brown unity. There is no minority coalition. None. They don't have no respect for foundational black Americans. They never have. They are not connected to your plight. They come here from a war-torn third world country to make money. And they look down on you. And they always have. And you guys that watch me, I've shown the history of A. Philip Randolph and so many of our elders of the past that was restrictionists, that talked about these other groups that came here and was more of a problem to us than a solution. A solution. More of a problem than a solution. So now you're complaining down there in Texas because the city controller has rolled back these programs. But you guys were down there for a long time
We watched the last 5 years, immigrants flood into this country. And you guys found housing for them. You guys found money for them. You created programs where they can become police officers. They can even emergency vote. You did all of you had all these things set in place for them. Now that Trump is in office and he's rolling back DEI and he's rolling back these programs, Target won't apologize, right? Target took back their $2 billion initiative, right? Target is no longer giving up money. Now you're crying and you don't have a plan of action. The Latinos let Jasmine Crockett and the black Democrats down there in Texas know who's running the show down there because they outnumber you 2-1. And now you're crying and you're screaming racism. At some point, you can't keep screaming racism. This country has always been racist, but you're still screaming racism. It's not going to get you nowhere. You have to have a plan of action. There are 50 to 60 million foundational Black Americans in this country. There is no excuse as to why we're not moving, unless these fraternities, sororities, and these upper class Negroes are in position to keep our communities in the way that it is, and they highly paid for it. See, W.E.B. Du Bois talked about the educated Negro. When you go to the Miseducation of the Negro, chapter 6, it says that the educated Negro leads the masses. And when we're talking about the educated Negro that left the masses, it was talking about the educated Negro that got educated and thought he was better than his people. And he left his people. He married a W woman or she married a W man, and they went over there away from our people. They took all their expertise and know-how. And we've lost our ability to create working models to fix our problem. So now it allows the Democratic Party to come in with programs that's not about empowerment. You've been, understand something, family. I'm not talking about the Republicans, because the Republicans have always been racist. Even from the 1800s, all throughout the early 1900s when we were following them, they were still racist. All the way from the time when Thaddeus Stephenson put the first reparation bill on the Senate, on the Congress floor, they were still racist, to the point where we had to have our own Black Republican Party because they were racist. All the way up into the 60s when they started to push the conservative right and Barry Goldwater, and we switched over to LBJ, they were still racist. But then the Democrats, the Democrats were already racist. So we already know that we're fighting a group of people that never enforce federal law. The federal law was never enforced on state law to protect our image and make sure that we would be able to advance. We already know that. We have audio of the President of the United States calling Africans monkeys. President Reagan and Richard Nixon. Then we went through a heroin holocaust, a crack holocaust. And you guys are still sitting here in 2026 with no plan of action at all. Black people in this country shouldn't be Republican or Democrat. We should be independent. And we should have our own system set up in place now. And whichever party meet our demands is where we go. We have a very large voting bloc. And we have over $1 trillion spending power. But we don't use it in the manner in which it should be used because Carter G. Woodson talked to us about the educated Negro leaving the masses. W.E.B. Du Bois, he turned his back on the talented 10th because he said the talented 10th turned his back on the Black community. A. Philip Randolph was responsible for creating the Black middle class with the Pullman Porters, right? And they all but tried to write him out of history because he was a restrictionist. See, let's listen to some more of this foolishness, man. And I'm trying to tell you, I don't talk about the Republicans because we don't support the Republicans. We haven't supported the Republicans in 60 years. But the Democrats want to keep you in a position of a lifetime victim. We just suffering victimhood. Her name is Cortina. Hold on, I don't know why. I don't know why I won't have no audio. Hold on. I don't know why. All right, wait a minute. I don't know why I won't have no audio. Hold on. Hold on, something. Hold on for a second. What the heck? God damn it. Hold on, something. Hold on. Hold on a second. What's up with this? I know, right? I got to figure out. I know, right? Yeah, I got to figure out what's up with my sound, man. Don't worry about it. This whole thing, I don't know what's going on with my sound. All of a sudden, the sound just went out. Yeah, I'm back. I'm gonna come back. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna get all this stuff straightened out. Then we'll come back. I'm gonna do a part 2 to this because it's some other stuff that I got that I actually want to present to you guys. Yeah, I'll just come back. We'll just finish this off. Maybe tomorrow around 5 o'clock again. I don't like the way the I don't know what's up with the sound. All of a sudden the sound just go out of nowhere. It's kind of weird to me. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I'll get back. I'll get back tomorrow, y'all. Peace.